Hi guys, today I wanted to show you a handbag that I thrifted from the thrift store. It is a olive leather Marc by Marc Jacobs satchel handbag. It is in great condition. It is approximately 14 inches in length and about 8 inches in height. It has two handles at the top. There is a pocket on the front with a toggle clasp, and there you can see the Marc Jacobs lining. There's also toggle clasps on either side that open and close pockets on the bag. And there are no pockets on the back of the bag. Inside of the bag, you have the classic Marc Jacobs black and white lining. There's also one Marc Jacobs tab that opens and closes the single zip pocket. This bag here was at the Salvation Army. And on the day that I purchased it, green tags were 1/2 off. It was marked $19.99 at the time that I bought it, and then it was $10 off of that. It looks like at one time it was actually marked at $29.99. So it has the one zip pocket, and then I think I mentioned it also has two slip pockets in the bag. So it's pretty clean on the inside and actually in pretty good condition. I was super excited about it. $10 is kind of towards the top of my range as far as buying thrifted purses. So, you know, one of the things that led me to purchase this bag is that it was made out of awesome soft leather, and the color was probably the top factor that made me decide to purchase this bag. Olive green is just a beautiful color. You don't see a lot of olive green handbags, and it was in decent condition. The condition issues that it does have are, I think, fairly minor. On the corners, there is some color that has worn off. The leather itself is not damaged or torn or anything like that, but there's definitely color that is lighter on the corners due to wear, and that's on both sides here. Hopefully you can see it. So, yeah, we have that on those two corners. I assume we have it, yeah, not as much, but also on these corners here. So my goal today is to try and make this look a little bit better. And I have myself a beautiful olive colored bag to wear this fall and winter. So if you have any interest in seeing how I try and make the color on this bag a little bit more consistent, please stay tuned and watch. Okay, so the two things that I will need to try to get a consistent color on the corner of this bag, are shoe polish and a rag to apply the shoe polish. I am using a olive colored polish that I bought on Amazon by a brand called Kelly's. I've never used this before, so I'm hopeful that it works. Generally, the line had good ratings on Amazon, so we'll see what actually happens. But anyway, I purchased this on Amazon, and it wasn't very expensive at all. I think it was less than $10. It might have been more in the $8 range. And then this here is just a old washcloth, a clean washcloth that I have cut into quarters. You can see that it's that it's shedding. But anyway, I have an old rag here that I'm going to use to dip the rag into the polish, rub it on the corners, and see what happens. So here we go. So first thing I noticed is that actually this olive is a little bit less olive than less dark color olive than this bag here, which I'm not sure how that's going to work for us, but we'll see. and actually has a little bit more of a gray tone. This has more of a yellow undertone, but let's see what happens, because maybe it's a product that dries darker. I have no idea, but let's see. I'm going to start off just by actually dipping into the polish that is here in the cap, and I'm going to try, you know what, maybe I'll do, there's a little bit of wear like on this seam here. Maybe I'll try like an inconspicuous spot on the bottom of the bag, and before I go to the actual corner, which you might see more readily. So let's just put a little bit here, see what happens. And at first glance, the color is looking a little bit more of a yeah, not as olive-y as I would like it to. So I don't know, but you know what, let's try several. You know, we may have to try multiple coats, see what happens. But anyway, that is the first swipe on this corner here, applying some of the polish. And we'll do the same thing on this corner here. Just apply a little of the polish. And we'll do the same thing on this corner here. And this is probably the worst corner of them all. So I'm just going to be very liberal with that and slather that on there and do the same thing. This is pretty. Yeah, on this side, both the corners are pretty, look pretty worn in my opinion. So, so yeah, let's just see what happens, you know. And since I kind of slathered it on there quite a bit, what I'm going to do is make sure that I'll leave it on there well, but I'm going to try and get off some of the like super excess that I put on there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this set for a few minutes and see what happens. There's no instructions on the actual bottle here. But from memory in the old days of having to polish shoes, when I was putting on my school uniform, make sure that my shoes are polished well, or helping my dad polish his shoes. Typically what you would do is you would put on the shoe polish, let it sit for a while, wipe, and then come back and kind of like buff it, and go from there. So sorry for all of these like little random fuzz balls I'm getting from the rag, but anyway, we'll go from here, see what happens. Okay, so what I decided to do is I grabbed a piece of white paper towel so we can get a better idea of like how much of this rubs off and kind of what it looks like. I decided to use a white paper towel rather than the dark brown rag. So what I want to be sure that I do is get any type of extra polish that I have stuck in the piping, get that off, because what I would not want to happen is to have this rub against my clothes at some later point and get it dirty. Now what's strange, what's interesting about this is that I'm rubbing this And this is a white towel. I'm not getting any polish off of here, which is like shocking. Very little polish. Very, very little. And that, interesting. So, shoe cream. So I'm wondering, is this actually more so like a dye or something? Because I would have thought that it might have rubbed off just a tiny bit more. But anyway, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put some more on here. And see what happens. Okay guys, I'm back, and the shoe cream, okay guys, I'm back, and the shoe cream did make a slight difference. I think you can see a little bit here that it's a little bit darker, but I think that the color of olive that I used just wasn't a deep enough olive for this bag, nor did it have the right undertone. It was a very cool undertone. So just to show you again, I used the kiwi shoe cream, and I used it in there what they call olive, and you can see this is very cool tone versus this warm tone. So what I've decided to try is, I have some shoe polishes that are brown, and they actually tend to have a red undertone to them. So what I'm going to do is overlay some brown shoe polish on top of this shoe cream and see what happens. And the polish that I will use will be this kiwi shoe polish in the color brown. So it's kiwi shoe polish brown. I have a lighter shoe polish called tan, but I think that's going to be too light and won't darken this at all. So I'm going to put the dark brown polish over these corners that have had this kind of gray undertone olive color put on it a few minutes ago, and see what happens. I think it might work out well. So the consistency of this is a lot more waxy, obvious, than the cream. It's actually a wax, you can see here. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to take a balled up white paper towel, and I'm going to pick up some shoe polish, and I'm going to start on the bottom here, a little bit less conspicuous place, and see if that will darken up at all these places that I just put that on there. And actually it does right away. So what I think I want to do is I want to take it off right away too, because I don't want it to be too dark. So yeah, let's do this. Let's put it on and then wipe it off pretty quickly. And you can see, actually, I think that might work out for us. And what I think I might do, quite honestly, I think I'm gonna, so that I can have more precise application and not get the dark brown on places that I don't need it, I think I'm gonna use my finger to put that on. So that actually looks pretty good. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna apply it with my finger, rub it in with a white towel, and then I think what I'll do is I will try to buff it off with one of these brown cloths. And I think that actually does look a little bit, that looks a little bit better. Let's try a second coat just to see what happens. Right there on the corner where it's the lightest. Buff it in a little bit with this white tissue. And we'll do the same thing on this other corner where it's light. Put a little bit of that dark brown. And while this one is kind of drying a little bit, we'll come buff this off some more. And that looks, if I must say so myself, looks fantastic. I'm like super happy about that. Because what I didn't want to happen is for the colors, the corners to get too dark and then actually look dirty. So yeah, I think that's giving me what I want. I'm gonna do this side one more time. Let it dry down. I think what I'll do is I'll do the corners up here too. While that is drying down there, I will put some on the corners here where it's a little light. So this corner here, we'll do that. And we'll hit this corner here with the dark polish. And see what happens. Alright. Alright, let's buff on this corner here. Looks much better than what it did. As does that one. That one's still, I'm going to do that one twice. I think what I should do is do each corner twice. I did the two bottom corners twice. So what I think I'm going to do is these two top corners twice also. You know. Alright, once I finish with all the corners, I'll come back and we'll see how it looks. Okay, guys, what I want to show you is the four corners on the front side of the bag that I put both the Kelly shoe cream on in olive as well as the kiwi shoe polish in brown. It's like almost a perfect match, much better. And what I want to do is, I have not done the back of the bag yet, the back corners, to show you the difference. So you can see that this is like pretty much one consistent color of olive, and when you look at on this side here, you can see that it's you know, it's olive, but it doesn't have the same richness and darkness. And I did use the Kelly shoe cream on it, but I have not put the polish on it yet. So I think that that was the key of getting it darker and the right tone, is basically overlaying the polish on top of the shoe cream. So so yeah, I'm surprised at the difference. I'm gonna kind of bend it and put it right next to each other, but you can see here it's lighter and has more of a grayish bluish undertone, and here it's like spot on. So I'm like super excited so far. So let's keep our fingers crossed, and we'll do the back side, you know, the back corners here and the top back corners with the shoe polish and see what happens. So once I have that done, I will come back and show you. Hi guys, I just wanted to come back and show you the completed bag. I finished putting all of the kiwi brown polish on all of the corners. Then after that, what I did was I just took some plain old kiwi leather lotion and conditioned the entire bag. And literally all that is you put a little bit of the conditioner onto a rag and you rub it all over the bag, and it gives it a nice sheen and conditions the leather. So yeah, so I'm pretty happy how it turned out. I did stuff it so that you could get a better idea of, you know, what it would look like if I had my belongings in it. But yeah, I think it turned out really, really nice. And when you look at the corners now, which previously looked really, really like kind of washed out and worn, they look great. So I'm super excited. For $10, looks like almost a brand new bag.